I don't think I've ever heard a bad word spoken about Taiwan, as they're considered one of the most beautiful countries in the world. But when people talk about Asian countries, Singapore, Japan, and Vietnam always rank near the top of the list. But if you've never been to Taiwan, or even this part of the world, this tiny island is the best place to visit, live, and retire, eating all the best food you love. And since I was lucky enough to travel here every single year for the past 8 years, so today, I've got the 10 reasons why Taiwan is the most underrated country in the world.
And I put them in the order of kind of okay to the coolest thing you'll ever see, starting with the first one.
And number 10 is bubble tea, or just milk tea in general. Because if you love drinking them, you have to visit here since bubble tea was literally invented in Taiwan. Personally, whenever I visit a new country, I always go and drink their bubble tea, or boba tea. Different names, same stuff. But the best and most delicious will always be the ones you can find in the beautiful country of Taiwan.
But just so you know, a cup of boba tea like that can't have as many calories as eating a Big Mac or 2 peanut butter sandwiches, especially if you add more toppings, so you might want to work out after this.
But what's even better than working out is reason number 9, taking a walk in the local night market. As for the longest time, Taiwan was known for having the oldest and the best night markets in the world, where you can find everything you want to eat, even at the middle of the night. Like this red bean cake, stinky tofu, which I absolutely love, and a bunch of fruits on the stick, as cheap and delicious as possible. Also, other stuff you need in your everyday life in Taiwan.
And what makes it even better is that even though it's called night market, it's quite common for them to open all the way from morning to midnight, even 24 hours. I think it's possible to survive on only eating at night market.
But what if I told you the country with the oldest night markets and temples is also the country living in the future? Because reason number 8 is AI and robots. I'm sure you all know Taiwan Semiconductor, one of the largest companies making all the chips inside the smartphones we use, so it makes sense for Taiwan to be the most advanced country on the planet. And that's why it's common to see robots delivering food and making noodles for you, and even restaurants and stores completely run by robots.
So I've read an interesting comment calling this place the heaven for introverts. Since with help of everything I mentioned, it's possible to go on your date with very minimum human interaction, even more so than countries like Japan.
But this isn't the only thing that Taiwan is doing way better than any other country, because reason number 7 is public transportation. As I've been living here on and off for the past 8 years, traveled the entire island, every corner and hidden tourist spots, and I never drove a car or a motorbike, because wherever you want to go in Taiwan, there's pretty much always a way to go there without driving. Whether it's a high-speed rail, which is like Shinkansen in Japan, or local trains, subway, buses, and rental bikes for everyone. And if you want a little bit of luxury, most trains have a business class with even better services.
Now hold on, that's pause a bit, because you might not know, but there's one thing that everyone, including all the people living here, seem to hate about Taiwan, and that is the inflation that's completely out of control. But that also leads to the next reason why this place is so good.
Because reason number 6 is convenience stores all over Taiwan. Now, even if you never came here, you probably know that Taiwan or Asian countries in general have a bunch of 24-hour convenience stores almost everywhere you need one, even deep inside the mountain. But what makes the convenience stores in Taiwan the best is the insane discount thanks to the idea of not wasting food. So if something's about to expire, be it today or this week, etc., you get a huge discount anywhere from buy one get one free to maybe a 30% off, making it super easy for me to live on less than $8 a day. But still, the inflation isn't getting better, and you need to always save up money even when traveling. And that's where reason number 5 becomes a lifesaver, which is capsule hotels. Now, you might think to yourself, many countries in Asia like Japan, Singapore, and Vietnam also have capsule hotels. But the problem is, the capsule hotels in those countries ain't even that much cheaper compared to a normal hotel. But here in Taiwan, capsule hotels are so cheap and can easily be found anywhere, and sometimes they even include all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet, to a point I legit consider living in capsule hotels as a way of living out my retirement.
I'ma let you guess how much a capsule hotel room like this would cost. Here's a little hint. It's not $40 or even $20, but way less than $20, you can have yourself a comfortable hotel room to stay in.
But now that you have enough money saved up, it's time to live life as relaxing as you want. Because reason number 4 of why you would love it here is the best hot spring in Asia, if not the entire world. Now, you you might think that hot springs sound luxurious and are only available for the super rich, or maybe capybara, the ones with the oranges atop their heads. Of course, but here in Taiwan, you can find public hot springs almost everywhere from a few dollars to literally free. Yes, you heard me right. And the luxury looking ones are pretty affordable too, especially during low season.
And for hot spring hotels over here, I would say anywhere from $10 to $20 to $100, you can find yourself a pretty good hotel room. But if you want something even cheaper, they have those isolated individual rooms for hot spring, where you could pay for maybe $2 to $3, and you have yourself the best hot spring in the world.
But you might have noticed by now that houses and buildings in Taiwan sometimes look completely different, almost as if they came from different countries, and that brings us to reason number 3, which is the cultural diversity in everything. Since so many things happen in Taiwan in the past century, every few steps you take, you can easily find something built in different time in history, as well as helping you realize just how many stuff people living here been through just to become the Taiwan you see today. And the local artists are also doing their best to decorate the city landscape, even though sometimes I don't know what they're supposed to be. But reason number 2 is when it gets really crazy, and you have to visit here to see it for yourself, because this is the only place in the world I know where you can swim in the beautiful ocean, dry up yourself, and just a few steps away, literally climb some of the tallest mountains in Asia, as you usually only get one in other countries. You either have the beautiful beach like Vietnam and Australia, or you have mountains like East Malaysia, and maybe after a few hours of driving, you also get to see the ocean, but never within a few steps, as Taiwan is literally rocks sticking out of the ocean, therefore leading to this unique, wondrous view of having both the ocean and mountains in the same place.
But only so the oceans are swimmable and so the mountains are climbable, so be sure to look all of it up before going anywhere.
But what you don't have to look up to know is the one thing you know for sure Taiwan is doing better than anywhere else you know, and that is animal protection. As I've been volunteering in America and similar countries for the past decade, saving animals off the street, and I can't believe how the Western countries can't seem to do even 1% of what Taiwan is doing when it comes to animal rights and production. And it didn't used to be this way too. I believe it was Japan who first came up with the idea of spaying and neutering shelter animals to humanely reduce their numbers, but Taiwan was the one who picked up the ball and truly ran with it, to the point I went to a shelter a few years ago, hoping I could also volunteer over here, only to find a shelter having more volunteers than animals. And a quick Google search will tell you that Taiwan now has the lowest birth rate in the world, which further tells you how much everyone loves their house pet. And I hope every country out there that still has problems with overcrowded animal shelters, just like California and Texas, to put down their ego and simply learn from Taiwan.
But in the end, there's one thing that will make me believe Taiwan is totally worth your visit for you to see everything for yourself. It's the lovely people of Taiwan. As I've traveled the world, yet never have I been to a place with people more kind and loving than my local Taiwanese. As my American friend came here to visit me, only to be shocked by how welcome he was, as even in his own country, people would give him a look and stare all the time just because he looked a little bit different. This may be the one place in the world where I can truly say that everyone loves another as equal. So with all that being said, are you going to visit Taiwan this year or not?